Welcome back to the Quiet on Set podcast, recorded from our home studio here in Switzerland. I'm Ewan Gruff, and joining me in person today is Lachlan Thiele.
Hello,
Welcome.
thank you for having me. Thank you for also calling it our home studio.
Yes.
It's definitely just yours, but thank you for making me feel welcome.
For the next few days, it will be ours.
For ours.
Communism
very
here.
communist
Yes,
of us.
communist
Very communist of us.
Mhm.
On this special episode, we are recapping the CANNES 76 experience, films, the whole thing. We got to visit it in person. We're very grateful for that, of the opportunity to go there in France in person. My first time in Europe, which is even cooler.
Yeah.
And we saw 35 films.
So many films. Each, yeah.
Overlapping, but we both saw 35 films altogether.
Exactly.
Which is a crazy amount to squeeze into how many days?
I think 11 days.
11 days?
It
12
starts
days?
in at the evening, there's one movie in one day. We watched at one point 7 movies in a day, but we'll get to that
the
story
most was 7,
later, yeah.
the least amount was 1 in one day. That's
exactly.
wild.
There was never a day where I didn't watch a movie though. So I feel like we've done well with our time there. And yeah, we'll go over each category. We'll talk about the prize winners, right? The stuff that won. And there's a whole bunch to talk about. We don't want to waste much time, and we'll dive straight in. On the last evening, we attended the closing ceremony as well, and ended up watching Elemental. We'll get to that later on. There was the announcement of all of the winners. I think for most of them, we kind of were anticipating those to at least get a prize, maybe not end up where they actually ended up. So do you wanna read out the winners of this year's CANNES 76?
Should we go from best screenplay to Palme d'Or?
Sure, yeah. We'll do it like that.
That way.
Yeah.
That's the same way that they did it.
Yeah.
You're making me pronounce all of the hard names. So
oh no,
you funny guy.
So unintentional.
So for best screenplay, is it called best screenplay, or is there an actual name for it?
I think it is just, I don't know. I actually don't know.
We're gonna get the real name for these.
The real deal.
Nope, it's just called best screenplay. Cool. Anyway, for best screenplay, you had Sakamoto Yuji for the film Monster.
Yes.
Koreeda's Monster. Obviously, this was interesting, mainly because people were obviously talking about how this is Koreeda's sort of divergent from writing, directing, and being the
being the writer.
Yeah, exactly. Just being the director.
He doesn't win here, I guess, but he still wins for the movie.
He wins for the movie, but he doesn't win.
And
for
he also accepted the award. I think
Yes.
Sakamoto Yuji was not there.
Interesting. We then had best actor as I need to practice the names before I do it. Koji
Just back-to-back Japanese
Yakusho
winners, which makes it.
Yakusho?
I also want you to pronounce
Yakusho?
for later titles, if there's
Koji Yakusho?
the original title, maybe in Norwegian or Danish.
Yeah.
I want you to pronounce it in that language.
Oh, great.
No.
And then with best actor, we have Koji Yakusho in Perfect Days, which is totally deserved.
Yeah.
Excellent performance.
I was rooting for that. I was actually rooting because the way the rules work is that you get one award.
Yep.
You don't get more than one for each movie. And as soon as this was announced, I was a bit disappointed because I thought this movie might get a higher price later on. But seeing his performance, I am really happy for him. Great performance there.
All of my guesses, by the way, are totally off.
Yeah, we'll go over
this is
them
my
in a
first
second,
time guessing these awards and what they were. I didn't even know you could only get it once. So I think I put down Zone of Interest twice.
You put it down as the Grand Prix winner, which is the second prize, but also for best directing.
Anyway.
We'll get into that in a second. Yeah.
Hey. Jinx.
Hey.
We don't
can actually do that. We can never do that.
We don't have that delay anymore. Or should we just pretend there's a delay?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds great. Best actress went to Merve Dizdar.
I definitely have to put in the clip that I recorded as well. Her reaction was priceless.
Yeah, she was
not expecting it. Because I feel like there was another performance from Sandra Huller, who was the supposed frontrunner, but we'll get to that movie later on because it did win.
Did win, but not for Best Actress.
Yes.
Merve Dizdar was in About Dry Grasses, or how everyone was actually saying it, About Dry Glasses.
Including me, actually.
No one called it Grasses. Everyone just kept saying Glasses, but hey, even I think the announcer said Glasses.
She did, yeah.
Which is even funnier.
The performance for Best Actress goes to Merve Dizdar from the film About Dry Glasses.
So then at Best Director, you have Tran Anh Hong for Pot-Au-Feu, which was a movie about cooking.
It was, there was so much cooking
and,
done there.
He cooked up a good movie.
Deservedly so. There's a lot of really intricate, longer scenes. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. Don't talk about it now.
Yes. And then the Grand Prix, a bit of a surprise there because I expected this movie to take home the Palme d'Or, but it didn't.
Are you talking about the jury prize or the Grand Prix?
I skipped over, which also is what you did because you didn't see the third prize winner for the jury prize.
This is the only in-competition film that I was unable to get in my schedule, which was already 30. I watched 20 of the 21 competition films, which is an effort and a half. Even though there's 2 of them that aren't technically in competition, I probably should have prioritized Fallen Leaves. I had a lot of good stuff about this movie.
Means there's 23, right? So there would be a couple more, right? With the closing and with Jeanne Du Barry, which wasn't part of it. So
there's in competition, but
we
out
watched
of competition.
a lot of movies.
We watched a lot of movies. Anyway, jury prize went to Fallen Leaves.
Yes, from Aki Kaurismäki.
Grand Prix,
The Light.
The Zone of Interest. Jonathan Glazer obviously was front running because everyone thought Sandra Hüller was going to be getting Best Actress, which means Anatomy of a Fall wouldn't be able to win any of the other prizes.
Exactly.
I found that out after putting all of my guesses in, so thank you for informing me on that one. I probably should have just Googled it. That's on me.
Yeah.
But which means the Palme d'Or for Cannes 76 went to
Justine Triet for Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall. A movie we quite enjoyed ourselves. Probably wouldn't have put it for either of us up there as the best of the festival, certainly for the best performance of the festival. I would have probably shifted something around to maybe make place for About Dry Grasses in that top 3 spot. And I guess bump up the other 2.
I just realized technically Sandra Hüller could have won
for the Zone of Interest.
For the Zone of Interest.
But I feel like they were gonna give it a big prize. Regardless.
Yes.
But she was in both movies.
She was in both movies, Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall. So technically she could have won Best Actress.
Yeah.
If either Zone of Interest or Anatomy of a Fall wouldn't have been able to win anything else.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't have been fair because they were 2 of the strongest films.
I mean, apart from, I like the Pot-Au-Feu, which was, I feel like everyone in here kind of deserves what they want for.
All right, Ewan, do you want to read out your predictions that you put down for this to see how many you got correct?
Right, for Best Screenplay, I had About Dry Grasses. For Best Actor, La Chimera, I hadn't seen it then, I just predicted it, because you said he was pretty good in it.
He was great.
Best Actress for Sandra Hüller and Anatomy of a Fall. Best Director, I did go 1 for 1 there.
Nice.
For the Pot-Au-Feu. And then Jury Prize, I was thinking a movie that I also hadn't seen. I just was predicting stuff I hadn't seen. Four Daughters, which was a movie that Lachlan caught and told me some things about, and I just thought like, oh, maybe that can get in there.
Tugs the heartstrings.
Yeah. Grand Prix, I had a tie because that sometimes happens at these, I guess. Happened last year as well.
He thought if you could just put a tie for all of the films in competition
just get all of them in there. No, I was predicting these 2 films because it makes it so much harder to actually get them right.
Yeah.
But I went with Perfect Days and Anatomy of a Fall as a tie there. And then for the Palme d'Or, I was predicting The Zone of Interest. What about you, Lachlan?
So for screenplay, I put La Chimera because I thought it was a really stunning little film.
Yeah.
For Best Actor, I put Jude Law because it was one of the earlier films that we caught.
Yeah.
And it really caught on
Firebrand,
to be.
Yeah.
That was
caught fire.
It was the best part of that film, in my opinion, was Jude Law's performance as King Henry. It was quite captivating.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of latched onto that thinking, big star. They're probably going to go for an Oscar run for him.
You think so?
I reckon.
I don't think it has the legs.
But either way,
ultimately, he doesn't in that movie as well.
Jude Law, Best Actor, Best Actress. I just put May December because it will be one of the 2 from May December.
Yeah, May December won nothing.
Neither of them got it, and nothing from May December either. Best Director, I put down Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer.
Yes.
Which I didn't realize I could only put it down once. So I also put it down for Grand Prix, which I got right.
Yeah.
There's my 1 for 1.
Well, you got 2. Actually.
Hang on.
Right,
I haven't got to the second one yet.
Right.
With Grand Jury, I put down Perfect Days because that was also quite good. And then Palme d'Or.
Yeah.
I put Anatomy of a Fall. There's my 2 for 2.
Yeah, you did better than me. You got 2 out of the 6.
2 out of the 7.
7. Counting
I beat Ewan.
Well, that means you get to go first and talk about your 3 favorites of the festival.
Okay, sure. So I have decided not to do my 3 favorite films from a structural standpoint or a favorite standpoint because there's a lot of different categories that are at Cannes, if you didn't know. So you have in-competition films, but you've also got in-competition films that are out of competition. So they're part of the in-competition, but they can't compete and win an award. You've then got Unseen and Regard Unsen Regard, sorry. That's
Yeah.
what is it? One certain regard.
One certain view. Or
View.
look,
Yeah,
or
there's your translation.
Sure.
You've got completely out of competition films.
So out of competition.
So out of competition.
There's competition, then so out of competition, and then like
you've got
oh my God,
midnight
you're so
screenings, you've got Cannes premieres, you've
Yeah.
got special screenings, you've got short film categories, you've got SEMAINE de critique.
Semaine de critique.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I've been
Critics Week?
spending 2 weeks in France and I
Yeah,
still
it's been
haven't caught
getting
on.
way better.
So you've got a number of categories. So I kind of wanted to
Yeah.
capture 3 from each category that I really enjoyed.
Mhm.
And it can be for a bunch of different reasons. So
Yeah.
for my in competition pick, I put down La Chimera.
La Chimera, a late bloomer.
Yes.
Premiering at pretty much the like last 2 days of the
Yeah,
festival.
I was looking forward to this film.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I was going to love it
Yeah.
because I had seen a previous film, Le
Short film?
Pupille.
Yeah, the short film, the
which-
Oscar nominated one.
I wasn't so into it,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of magic to this film,
Mhm.
which got me super excited. When a film is, when it has heart to it,
Mhm.
I quite enjoy it. I
Yeah.
felt like this was watching classic cinema.
Mhm.
I felt like I was watching like The Goonies as an example, and I did name my review "Grown Up Italian Goonies" because
Yeah.
that's basically the film.
Mhm.
But there was a lot of aspects to it that I really caught on. This sense of magic and wonder, this sort of tragic love story, and on top of that as well, you had this sort of mystery, especially when we have
Mhm.
such an unfortunate event with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
I found this other archaeologist who's way
Mhm.
cooler, and
Yeah.
this movie had a lot more heart to it. So I know that
Mhm.
you didn't
I
like
didn't like
this
it.
movie as much,
No.
which is okay. We can have
I think
opinions.
Yeah.
Some people's opinions can be wrong.
I was about to say we agreed on a lot of stuff.
It wouldn't be because you had to travel a long way to see this one, would it?
Yes.
That didn't put you in a bad
This
mood,
is
did it?
like such a specific thing, and it would have its place in stories, but I don't think it's worth it. So I'm gonna tell it really briefly here. Usually, like most of for those of you interested in how Cannes works, there's like a big festival center where like everything is kind of happening. There's the Grand Lumière thing that
Grand
has
Lumière.
like 2,432 seats.
Yeah, something like that.
That's totally
31
right.
seats.
Sure. Yes, he got it right. The red carpet and everything, and there's one where most of the press screenings are happening. There's a bunch of them in there, all around the town, but then also like pretty much it's still in Cannes, but like a town over. It's like 20 minutes with a 20-minute long bus ride. There's a big multiplex theater. There's an IMAX screen. There's a couple of them, and some of the screenings happen there, and the infrastructure is terrible to get there. It sucks, and I did it on the last day because I essentially had the choice between the last 3 competition movies that I hadn't seen, which was Four Daughters, Banel Adama, and La Chimera, and I had tickets for all of them, and I had to decide which one I'm going for. And I watched La Chimera in IMAX, but I got there like really late and sat in like the 3rd row all the way to the right. I was looking up at the screen in this IMAX screen. Great theater. I think to go there, it's really the most comfortable seating you're getting in Cannes. But I did not enjoy it, and I think I will give it a rewatch, and I might enjoy it a bit more.
Okay. Well, I enjoyed it, and that's all that matters, really, because this is my
Sure.
3 favorites.
Okay.
Next up, I've got one of the Unsen Regard films,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be Only the River Flows. Now,
Right,
this wasn't
okay.
my favorite film from that category. You have some better films. I mean, the winning film, How to Have Sex, was
Yep.
definitely a
It was
really
great.
fun film to watch.
Mhm.
And debut, first time
I
in
think,
Cannes?
yeah.
Yeah,
Out of
Molly
Sex
Manning
was...
Walker.
Yeah, I mean, we forgot to say in the actual like ceremony where they also announced the Camera d'Or, which is like
Yes.
for the first feature film, which went to the Cocoon.
It is her first film.
It is her first film. Yeah, really impressive. I mean, that's a different category, but yeah,
Yes.
she won the Answer de Regard prize there. John C. Reilly was
John
was
C.
like
Reilly
leading-
was giving-
yeah, we saw him a bunch of times. Actually, he was in the screenings.
Yeah, you became best friends. You're on.
I shook his hand the
You,
first time
you
I
started
saw him.
referring to him as just John.
Yeah,
So you're
John.
like on
Hey,
first name
John.
basis.
No, I'm calling him C.
C. Oh,
Yeah.
just his middle name.
The middle name that
Yeah.
no one knows about. Yeah.
I would like to give a special little award, essentially, just for possibly one of the biggest missed opportunities. It
Yep.
is a really interesting noir crime noir that has a lot of exciting elements that I really enjoyed. In my review, compared it to the likes of Twin Peaks, which is a absolute fucking prestigious thing, I could say, to a film. When you have Twin Peaks elements to it. Essentially, there was some dreamlike sequences, and the other thing as well is that it was shot on film, so it has this really interesting look to it, and the lighting is wicked, heavy smoking from the protagonist, and like the first 2 acts are pretty good. They have a really interesting crime story going along, and
it drops in quality.
Last hour, or the last 45 minutes, I should say, is a little bit different. They lean a bit more into the weird and the wacky, which there is another film at the festival that does that to a better degree. Because it doesn't lean too hard into it. It like deep puts its big toe in and then pulls it out, and that's it. Where Only the River Flows, just balls to the wall, fucking weird.
Yeah, it doesn't really come together towards the end. It's
and I like a lot of the elements to it.
Yeah,
but at the same time, like this was just a lot of fun to watch, even though the sequences didn't really work. And at the end of the day, I was sort of just that's unfortunate.
You can see it's someone's early work as well. So I think you also like missed opportunity, but keen for the future work as well, right?
Yes. Cats. And finally, spot number 3. I mean, I couldn't have not put this on this list because this is my first Cannes festival. Cannes festival.
Cannes.
This is my first Cannes festival.
Yes. Live cam.
And I got to see a Martin Scorsese film. That's going to be a special place in my brain for the future. I was over the moon when I got to hear that I'm seeing a Martin Scorsese film, and with Wes Anderson as well. Surprisingly, I don't have Asteroid City on here.
I'm actually surprised.
But that's because it would have to take out the spot if in competition. And again,
by the arbitrary rules set by us to only select 3, it unfortunately cannot be in.
So my third is Killers of Flower Moon.
Yeah.
By Mr. Scorsese. Because there is a special element to it. By seeing one of the greatest directors who've ever lived, who's made some of the greatest films ever, that people will study for a very long time and have been studying for a very long time. It was exciting to see his latest film on the big screen in France. It was so special. It was so exciting. Again, it's a great film as well. It's really solid. There's a lot of films. I didn't give a 5-star out. You gave a 5-star out, didn't you?
I gave 1 5-star.
Yeah, I haven't given a 5-star out, and I'm considering bumping up a couple of my scores to be higher.
Okay.
And bumping some of them down. I think now that I've got the whole festival as a whole, I kind of want to go through the letterbox list and I already did that with one film on the train ride home yesterday.
Okay.
Is that going to become one of our stories?
What?
The train ride?
Yeah, we'll get to the train ride. At the end, we'll tease you. It was like a movie.
Fucking mess.
It was like a movie, man.
God, man.
You can't make some stuff up. But but that's
Chimera, Only River Flows, Killers of Flower Moon, 3 of my favorites at Cannes. Ewan?
Yeah, some interesting picks. I just went with the boring straight ones, like from 1, 2, 3 as they were my favorites on there. I loved, you spoke of a movie that I gave 5 stars to, and that was none other than Wim Wenders' Perfect Days, the movie that won for the best performance, male performance of the lead. And it's just like basically this really simple tale of a guy who lives in Tokyo who cleans toilets, his simple life, his simple daily life, his simple pleasures of reading, listening to music. And it's beautiful. It's like hard to really pinpoint down what about this movie works so well, because it's like you just gotta be there, experience it. I really like those grounded type of character pieces. For some reason it did remind me a bit of like the Before trilogy, where there's no romance really going on in this movie, of course, but it's just a lot of really great moments of humanity captured. And yeah, you really liked this one as well, right?
I did. I
Yeah.
thought it was stunning. I got to see it before you, and I gave you a hype up for it. I was like,
Yeah.
man, you got to see this one. This one is worth it.
Yeah. At the time, you said this might be the best of the festival.
I did. At the time, it was one of the best films that we saw, at least that I saw at the festival, that was solid on all levels.
And then my second pick is May December from Todd Haynes, the director of Carol. I had a new film here that didn't really get a huge buzz, but it got picked up by Netflix. So we'll say that.
It's a very Netflix film.
You think so?
Oh, fuck yeah, I do.
I don't really see a lot of identity specifically
Nah.
in that film though. But I mean, hope it gets like at least a little bit of a theatrical release. But other than that, I guess a lot of people will experience its weirdness.
No Oscar chance.
Well, it depends. If they go for the performances, they might like screen it in theaters, at least in LA and New York, so they qualify.
Oh, yeah, good point.
But
I forget that that's all you have to do to qualify.
yeah, exactly. This was great. I think this was the last movie on a 7-movie day, and the night before, Lachlan actually went out to go see a movie late, and I was like, "No, I'm staying in. I'm sleeping because we had a big day tomorrow," and that ended up biting you in the butt
Yeah.
because you
It's
were
one of the-
like
it's one of
out
the
for like a
it's
third of it.
Only one of the only films that I fell asleep to.
Yeah.
Which I hate to say that I fell asleep during a screening because I'm not that kind of person, but I got home.
Oh, I fell asleep. So
I
much.
saw Four Daughters, and that finished at 1:00 in the morning on
Yeah.
that Saturday.
Mhm.
And then the first screening was at 8:30.
Yeah.
That was because I only got home and I probably only fell asleep at around 2:00. So
Yeah.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think your average was like 4 hours.
My
of
average
sleep.
of average hours of sleep was like 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
My Apple Watch told me that. It was like, we want to update you on your steps and
Yeah.
your flight of stairs
Mhm.
average. And I was like, oh, sweet, I've increased that.
Yeah.
And then it's, you've also decreased in your hours of sleep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at all the coffee jar that I got, and it was like half, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, May December is great. Cole actually told me from the Oscar expert. I didn't know this expression, May December. It means generally like just a relationship between someone where there's a huge age gap, and this is essentially what this movie is about. And it's
Is it? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought you were next. I thought you were there when he told me. But I guess you weren't. But we ran into him all the time.
I
so,
could have
like,
been, but I was probably just like,
just like out of it, not
Yeah.
listening. But yeah, this movie is great. It's got the typical directing style from Todd Haynes, where he's really confident in silences, in awkward silences. In Carol, he uses it in a very like kind of sexy, romantic way. And here, it's less uncomfortable as you watch a kind of the process of people dealing with each other that don't want each other around, and kind of figuring out who they are along the way as well, or like trying to capture someone else, the essence of someone else, to put that on screen. It's just really interesting, really up my alley. So May December, and then lastly, Jonathan Glaze's latest film since Under the Skin. Again, I think produced by A24. The Zone of Interest ended up getting the Grand Prix, the second prize. It was so hard not to call this a masterpiece already, because I think you need a bit of time.
you
on
wanted
it.
to.
I wanted to say the M word. It's great. It has an incredible sound design. I think that's what I like about it the most. And it just really knows how to tell the story, which is basically telling the tale of a family that lives on, I guess, the wall next to Auschwitz, and the man of the house is one of the higher up running Auschwitz, and we follow this family along that is despicable and just next to this immense amount of violence and just kind of not affected by it whatsoever. They're all caught up in their own little worlds and their problems that they deem to be like, big, when literally you hear gunshots all the time in the background, and not like as in there's a shot and everyone pays attention to it. It's like it's just ever happening and no one acknowledges it, and that could run dry pretty quickly if you don't do it well. But it's masterfully directed. So I actually, you picking it for best directing does make sense. I feel like this movie is great. I hope to hear a lot more.
I
from
sometimes
it later
do
in the
have
year.
good opinions.
Rarely.
You
picked
it's rare.
lucky.
The three bottom guesses. Can you scroll back up to my guesses?
Yes.
Like that I thought I was gonna win from like a me trying to mentalized, like the
Yeah.
fucking jury. Screenplay honestly makes a little bit of sense because I'm probably a bit biased, but
With Lucky Man.
I could have seen. I scroll down.
Oh, do your actual choices?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go over our actual choices. Because now that we've shared our competition, what would be the prices that we would give out? Do you wanna kick it off here?
Well, for me, I was gonna go the same way that we've continued going.
And you can give, with our prices, you can give a single movie like more than one
Yeah.
prize.
I said screenplay should have gone to Lucky Mia. Best
Mhm.
actor should have gone to Joss O'Connor from Lucky Mia.
Mhm.
Best actress would be Sandra Hüller from Anatomy, not Sandra Hüller from Zone of Interest.
Right.
Best director, Zone of Interest. I thought that was he deserves it. That was like the best directed film of the festival.
It was great, yeah.
You've then got Anatomy of a Fall as the jury prize, Zone of Interest for Grand Prix, and Perfect Days as the Palme d'Or.
Great picks.
All right, Ewan. Would you like to talk about your actual choices?
Yes.
That you wanted to win.
For best screenplay, I went with About Dry Glasses. Best actor, I picked the lead from Perfect Days,
Congrats.
Sandra Hüller as best actress.
Means nothing that you got that one right.
Well, I wasn't. That was my actual choice.
Yeah, I know, but
So I'm happy.
it means nothing because it's not your actual what you thought was going to pick. It's what you wanted to win.
Yeah.
Is that why you got so excited?
Yes. What do you mean? Well,
No.
no, I got excited and then was disappointed because I wanted it to get like.
Oh, we also forgot to tell everybody that when Anatomy got picked, you thought it was Club Zero.
Yeah.
you were
'Cause,
literally
like, they
about
got-
to riot because that was the worst.
Because it's Justin Tritt who won. But there's also what's her name? Jessica Hausner, who did Club Zero, my least liked movie of the entire festival. And for a second, I mixed the two of them up until like I
So
saw on
funny.
screen.
That was so
I'll put the
funny.
video in here if I got it.
The Palme d'Or 2023 goes to Justin Trier.
What? Yes. No. I thought someone else?
Anatomy of a Fall, right, for Best Actress. Best Director, The Zone of Interest. Jury Prize, again, I went with About Dry Grasses. Grand Prix, to May December, and Palme d'Or to Perfect Days. So I guess I didn't cut out anything. I guess I didn't give the jury prize or anything big to The Zone of Interest because I felt like it stood on its own with the directing. Those are my choices. And Lachlan, are you ready to dive into the categories and tackle the first one, the biggest one, first with the 21 movies playing in competition? We won't be going into them in detail for the big ones. We do have separate reviews that you can find right here in a playlist. We also got reviews that we did on our separate channels for some of the movies. So go give that a watch if you want to hear our extensive 10-minute
Dude,
plus
I was tripping because it
talks.
looks like it says we've been recording for 25 hours, and I'm
Ah.
like, there's no fucking
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I just keep the same file and just keep going because
My
I'm too
brain's
lazy
like,
to set
what
it up. new
time
each
does
time.
Switzerland run on?
Yeah, it's the different one.
Okay, sure.
The different one. Anyways, we'll go through the films and give our brief thoughts on them in competition. We'll stay on this for a while because, well, we've seen them all amongst the two of us. So the opening film, Jeanne Du Barry from Maïwen, herself in it, and Johnny Depp. So, Lachlan, what did you make of that one?
It was just French Jack Sparrow. Wasn't worth any of my time.
Yeah.
And kind of sucked that it was the opening film. Wasn't
It
like
did.
a big shocker, but
No.
I get why it was there because
They tried to do a fun one for the
Yeah.
opening. And this one tried to
doesn't
be funny.
land.
Wasn't funny. So skip out on that one. I don't think it's going to be relevant later in the year. Next up, we got another film that I really disliked. It's called Club Zero from Jessica Hausner. Some people seem to disagree with me. This got
Some people
pretty
love
good
it.
ratings. And like we said before, some people are just wrong.
Yes. I wanted to give Club Zero no stars.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't really enjoy it at
Yeah.
all. Because during Club Zero, there was one person next to me who was enjoying it, and the person next to me was absolutely hating it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh, mixed reactions. But I gave it a 1.5 to skew down the average star on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I have to say.
I also sat next to someone who really enjoyed it and next to someone who was on their phone for 10 seconds. And then the guy leaned over me and said like, oh, get off the telephone. And I was like, okay, I guess you're really having a good time because I think this movie is not great. It's like the premise is a teacher comes in, teaches about like what is it, conscious eating, and it's essentially, well, don't eat anymore.
Don't eat
And
anymore.
it tries to be satirical. Would have worked maybe as a like 15-minute short, maybe 20 minutes. But it even doesn't have the base of anything good in there, in my opinion. So yeah, fell flat on its face. Next up, The Zone of Interest. We already talked about it. There's also a review out for it. One of the best films from the festival. And then we don't have anything other to say about that one, I assume, right? Go check out our review.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Did we do a review on Zone of Interest?
We did. Yeah, it's out there.
Oh yeah. Everything's merging into one
Yeah.
ball of...
one ball of memory.
Yeah, I guess the only thing about Zone of Interest is if you want to know more about it, go look at our short review. It's only 10 minutes long and and it's everything you need to know about it.
Sure, yeah. The next movie is the only one you didn't catch from the competition, and
Correct.
I loved it. I just before the festival ended up catching one of Aki Kaurismäki's films, and this one was delightful. It was basically a romance story of two pretty ordinary people. The log line, I think, is incredible. I'll put it on screen right now. Yeah. And yeah, it's just like about a store clerk and the other one's alcoholic, and it's just them trying to, I guess, connect. And there's also a dog in it that's really charming. So yeah, kind of,
Dog.
yeah. It's we feel bad that you didn't catch that one because I missed two films that we're not like that excited about, which is actually one of them you're gonna talk about right now. Four Daughters.
Yes, Four Daughters. I caught that one. You didn't.
Yep.
It's okay. You know how I spoke about a film that I rated down during the train ride?
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
Oh, that was the one.
So I went from a 3-star to 2.5 because honestly, I thought it was okay. It feels a bit manipulative at times, unfortunately. It's a documentary about this unfortunate situation that happened within this family. A mother and her 4 daughters. And 2 of the older daughters go missing. I won't tell you what happens because I don't want you to have an expectation going in. Because luckily with most of these films, I didn't really read the log lines to any of them. So I didn't know what I was going into.
Even if you read them, sometimes they were just completely wrong.
Yes. So with Four Daughters, it's a little bit manipulative with its documentary style and what they go for. I can see how it can tug some heartstrings. I think this is sitting at, let's see, it's sitting at a 3.7 on Letterboxd, and I gave it a 2.5.
See, that's why I expected to win like a Grand Jury prize or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, didn't end up getting anything.
Just wasn't for me, just because I didn't like how they were going about telling the story.
Well, next up, you might have some more words actually for this because it was arguably the most anticipated of the whole festival.
Yes.
Wes Anderson's new film, Asteroid City, with a star-studded. Is that how you say?
Yes. Star-studded.
Studded.
Yeah.
So many studs.
So many
In the
studs.
cats. I'm back with my cat. Sorry, my thoughts are in a different place. Yeah, good bit of fun, right?
A lot of fun. We kind of discussed it as a return to form for Mr. Anderson with his films. I think we both agree that French Dispatch was not his greatest in a while.
Yeah.
He was kind of diverging from a heart of his films, which was family and love and
Family.
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 Yes. Imagine a Wes Anderson Fast and Furious movie.
Oh, it would be so funny.
Can
it
someone
would be
do that?
Great. Yes.
You know how they do
someone.
those, you know how they do those like AI generated
Exactly.
ones?
Yeah. I'd love to see that.
That'd be so good.
Yeah.
But Wes definitely returns to his roots with having a family at the core of this film, which is a good start to it. Then you have all of the stuff that makes his films so lovable, symmetrical, cinematography, excellent soundtrack,
Great colors.
Yeah. Funny jokes.
Funny jokes.
Funny timings. So with Asteroid City, it's definitely a return to form. Not fully. I don't think it's
it's still got some of
best.
the mess from French Dispatch with like the narrative framing that it needs around them, the just superfluous characters, and especially what this introduces more is abundance of cameos that we don't need for big names that essentially can say, hey, I've been in a Wes Anderson film, in brackets again. This whole movie is kind of in brackets the whole time. Even part of the synopsis, a lot of the dialogue. It's odd, but it's got a lot of character. So that's what we liked about it. So
It's Wes Anderson's Nope.
if you like if you like Wes Anderson, then you'll have a good time with Asteroid City. Next up, we're talking about the Palme d'Or winner, Anatomy
d'Or.
of a Fall, Anatomy d'une chute from Justine Triet. And yeah, I think you came out of this liking it a bit more than I did, so I'm gonna hand it over to you. What
Did you not like it as much as I did?
I think
What did
it
you
was
give
a bit, well, when I came out of it, I was ready at times to give this maybe a 3.
Yep.
And I think I ended up on a 3.5, but it had like really a lot of like 4.5 typish moments. I just thought it went on for too long, and I was expecting it to end in a different place. So I feel like on a rewatch, knowing where it goes, I will probably enjoy it more. But what did you make of it?
That was pretty good.
It was pretty good. Pretty good movie.
I enjoyed how the film opened and where the film eventually went to. The majority of this film is a courtroom drama.
Yeah. I was not expecting as much of that.
That's where you get the heart of the performances more than anything. With both Sandra Hüller and then whoever plays the other lawyer against her and the judge. They're all really good. And you didn't hate the kid performance?
I didn't hate that. There was a lot of
rare.
kid performance in Gun that I didn't mind. They were actually kind of good.
Because you absolutely hate kids.
Yes.
But no, look, Anatomy of a Fall is just a really well-crafted film, from the story to the performances to cinematography. Even some of the humor in it as well is pretty hitting. Because it's obviously he said, she said film at the end of the day. Because they're obviously trying to prove how.
But he can say no more, you know?
Yes, he's dead.
So that makes it's such an interesting character piece on her. Because you never quite figure it out. You feel like you figured it out, but you don't really.
It also has the most haunting sort of piano score throughout the film as well.
Best dog as well.
Best dog.
One best dog as well.
Best dog, yeah.
Palme dog. I don't know. It won something. They gave the dog they gave another dog that looked like that dog an award. But yeah, there were a couple of good dog performances. But this might have been like the biggest one. There was a great one in Fallen Leaves as well. But yeah, go check it out. Keep that on your radar. Definitely put that on your watch list. But I feel like getting the Palme d'Or has already done that for a lot of people. Next up, my most anticipated of the festival was Hirokazu Koreeda's new film Monster.
And you enjoyed this film more than I did. So maybe you should start.
Yes. Well, there were some things that I didn't like about it as well. I didn't know going in that this wasn't written by Koreeda, so I was expecting something a bit more like cohesive when it comes to these different characters interacting with each other. And I felt like ultimately this is a Rashomon type story where we get the different perspectives told throughout the same kind of time period to contextualize it, and ultimately it feels a bit more like The Last Duel than something like Rashomon. But it's still, I think, really capable of what it's doing. It just wants to dramatize a lot of like the endings to each chapter a bit too much, where it wants to have like this and this and this and this, and it just needed this. And it didn't really get there, but all along the way, I feel like it did so much right and only a few things wrong. Which doesn't really sound like a positive review.
No, it doesn't.
But yeah, I think I gave it like a 4 out of 5. It's great, or 3.5. It's great, but yeah, I'm a bit biased as well. I'm willing to bump it up a bit because it's Koreeda. What about you?
It's very difficult to do a multi-perspective narrative.
Yes,
it's a challenge to any filmmaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah,
it is a challenge to reveal enough without giving too much away.
Yeah,
but also reveal the right bits of information at the best moment.
Yeah.
With this film, it definitely does that.
Mm-hmm.
But towards the end of the film, it shifts pace and it pretty much spoon feeds you the final act, which is unfortunate because it was a very strong opening 2 acts. At least the first 3 perspectives you get are good and strong, and they present a narrative which is wicked. But the final narrative, which is from the perspective of the child, which is obviously the perspective that they're all talking about or they're trying to understand. From his own perspective, he's going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's the weakest, which is the most unfortunate part.
Yeah.
That should have been the strongest. That should have been the part that wraps it all together,
Yeah.
brings it to be that really good multi-layered beast.
Yeah.
But you don't get that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going to give it 3.5.
I feel like what make multi-perspective stories the most interesting is like that you are wondering what the actual reality is. And by the end of it, you're not wondering that anymore. Because the differences are so slight. And I feel like you could do a lot with perspective. And this movie ultimately decides kind of against that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Monster. I don't think it's going to make it into the Oscar race. I think it's not going to be up there, but we'll wait and see. Last year, Broker didn't get in because it would have been technically the same submission as Decision to Leave.
Yep.
But didn't Decision to Leave also not get in?
Yes.
So
Decision
fuck
to
the
Leave wasn't there as
Oscars.
well.
Just I don't want this next one to get in, an Italian movie from Nanni Moretti, A Brighter Tomorrow. I don't know where to start with this one, Lachlan. Do you have like a
What was your rating?
I don't remember. Like a 2.5, maybe a 3? I think
Well, I gave it a
3.
3.5.
I gave it like a 3. Oh, did I give it a 3.5 as well? Like it was done well because you obviously have that style of if you're not familiar with Moretti, he is the director. He's also in the movie, and it's very much just a fourth wall break the entire time. I feel like he's the Italian filmmaker Deadpool, and some of the humor is all right. Some of it is quite cringy and like preachy in a way that is like old filmmaker is screaming at the new cinematic landscape, and I'm not really the biggest fan of that. I feel like it is ultimately you just try to get some people in your corner, and then like it's cheap. Then it was also quite funny at times. I don't know what to make of this one, to be honest.
I haven't written a big review for this one.
Yeah,
because there are 2 films at Cannes this year that were essentially a movie about a film within a film.
Mhm.
And that's Cobweb and that's A Brighter Tomorrow.
yeah,
Out of the 2, Cobweb is the stronger one, which we'll get to shortly. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's one of the final films that we got to see.
Mhm.
But A Brighter Tomorrow, I felt like it was great,
Mhm.
but the ending just ruined it for me.
yeah,
I thought the jokes were quite good.
Mhm.
The humor is very funny, and the simplicity of it all, and the setting is also very interesting.
yeah.
Of the film within the film, and it's once again another film that like fourth wall breaks here at Cannes quite a bit.
Oh yeah, this you called it like the fourth wall break festival.
Oh,
year,
dude, it's like a
right?
fourth wall break fest.
Yeah,
Every single film is like, even like Killers of the Flower Moon had a fourth wall break.
Mm.
It didn't, but it basically. You're trying to think when it did, yeah. Well, no, it did. No, it did.
No, it did.
At
it
the
did.
end.
Yeah.
But was it? It's not
Not
really a
really.
fourth wall break.
Well, it is kind of. It's
the
like
way it's stylized.
It's
a
like
fourth wall break.
Leo pointing at the camera.
I
type
would
of
say it's
thing.
a fourth wall break.
I think
but
it
either
is.
way, I gave A Brighter Tomorrow like 3.5 because I think it's fine. I don't think it's the best film about telling a film within a film.
Yes.
I think the
not at this festival
narrative
as
is
well.
interesting enough. The
Yeah.
concept is interesting enough.
Mm.
It's really good.
Yeah, let's talk about some pedophilia. Last summer, the most French film to play at the festival from Catherine Brennan, who's quite familiar with tackling really juicy and controversial topics. I'm not a fan of her films, to be honest. So the one film that I caught so far, I kind of want to check out more of her stuff. And here it's about like a lawyer that's I think in her 50s probably, that's hooking up with her son-in-law.
Son-in-law.
Yes, so they're not connected through blood, so it's all good. I usually skip this pod. That's all I gotta say. What about you, Lachlan?
If you want to hear my thoughts, just go to Letterboxd and find my review.
Yeah, we're not gonna give it some time. All right, cool. Because I do have a few more words to say. I mean, it was alright. I think it wasn't a bad movie, to be honest. I feel like it was an interesting character piece on this woman who's just a not great person. Just not great people, complicated people all around. It was alright. But this next movie had some not so great people at the center of it all, but it was probably the best slow burner I've seen in a long time.
Also about pedophilia.
Was it? Alleged. Not really. I think it's just like not. He's like, don't do that. Was that implied? I don't think it was.
Are you kidding me? Come on, man.
I thought it was just like a weird dude.
No.
Okay, I don't know how explicit it well, Okay, we don't want to spoil because like that's essentially one of the
Really?
conflicts. I'm not entirely sure actually.
Dude, it's like the main thing
I know.
for the first 2 hours.
I know, and then it's not really that anymore. And I feel like a lot of it is like it's not clear. It's not clear what like actually happened. But he's really weird with her, but I don't know. This is more like an off-screen conversation because I don't know how to exactly place that character. He's so like you can't really get a hold of him.
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy.
He's a bad dude.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know if that extends to this.
He's
as well.
tiptoeing on the line of.
He's definitely tiptoeing on the line. Like he shouldn't. He definitely shouldn't. But I don't know like how far it goes into that. Like
Well,
you know.
he's definitely playing favorites.
Yeah. No, yeah, but I mean, if you say pedophilia, I feel like he slept with her, and I don't think like he didn't do that.
Okay, sure. Okay, in the sense that.
But yes,
last
the
summer,
other stuff, yes,
last
for
summer,
sure.
yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely not implied. It's shown.
Yeah,
With this one, it's definitely more implied.
yeah.
Okay, sure.
Well, I mean, the other one's also he's 17, so it's a bit different. It's just like the bigger age gap. That's the weird thing there, and it's also obviously like consensual. And
Yeah.
But yeah, About to Regrasses, great movie. Could creep up even higher on my list of what I love this festival. It was like just outside of my top 3 mentions. Number 4 for me. And yeah, but this bad guy. He's a bad guy.
He's a bad
and
guy.
he's incredibly interesting to watch. It's essentially about this teacher who has been placed in a rural town, and he's kind of sulking in the fact that he doesn't want to be there. He wants to leave for Istanbul, and he's just a bit of a dick to everyone. Kind of a cold-hearted, pretty much intellectual person that also portrays puts his intellect out there. And yeah, I thought this was riveting, and it's a long movie, a really long movie, over 3 hours long. But especially the last hour is so great. It's worth the stay. Let's talk about your favorite film of the festival. really quickly.
Chimera.
Are you gonna record a review for this one?
Ooh, I'm considering it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because yeah,
Probably.
there's definitely a lot to dive deep in here. Movie shot on film. Yeah. Do you have anything else to say about it?
I don't have much to say. You can read my review if you want, but I can summarize it up in Grown Up Italian Goonies. Is essentially beautiful film, great story.
Yeah.
I love the look of it. I love the ensemble and the wackiness of them all and the introduction of them all. It's a really fun little narrative.
Mhm.
I want to get a tattoo of this movie.
Tattoo. Okay. What do you want to get? What's that? What image?
What about like the red string?
The red string?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's a good. Yeah. Like I like that.
There's like a
actually.
quote from the film. One sec. Where is it? That I really, really liked. There was like a really nice review, like a review that had a quote in it that was really good, but I can't find it anymore.
Next up was the film that won Best Director at the festival for Tran Anh Hung. I'm so not confident that was at all even close to his name, which had the title in the American version, The Pot-Au-Feu. But in French it was La Passion.
I got it.
All right. Sure.
La Passion de Duden
Dodin.
Buffon.
Buffon.
Yeah, whatever.
That was the name of the, I guess, main cook
Yeah.
at the center of it all. Yeah. It was pretty well directed.
Yeah, 100%.
Didn't get me hungry. It definitely got you hungry.
Dude, I had lunch beforehand and I came out of that cinema being like, I need food.
Yeah.
Now.
It's some, I guess, deliciously cooked food. I didn't really connect with the narrative, which at the center of it all, it's like that cooking, but also a romance. And I thought like the romance was okay-ish. The cooking definitely was the best part of it. I called it, although no one liked my review, Dodin's Stationary Castle. And I think maybe the joke is not great, but
I mean, my
Powerful
review
Castle.
basically just said best cooking movies, Ratatouille, Pot-Au-Feu, Pig,
And he got
Chef.
7,000 likes. Oh yeah. Oh wait, sorry. I thought he said just like best cooking movie. Period.
Yes.
No, but yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Check it out if you're interested in food. And
Now-
if you like Gordon Ramsay, then you're like, oh yes, food.
So next up we have Todd Haynes' May December, which didn't win any awards,
No.
but they were highly expecting a best performance from one of the two leads,
Yeah.
Julianne Moore and Natalie Portman.
Yep.
It was fun. for the moments that I was awake.
Yeah.
But Ewan, you should take this one away because you watched it.
I mean, I've already talked about it. I think the things that I liked. I don't know if I have much to add beyond that. But if you like Todd Haynes, he'll not disappoint. I think this is up there as one of his best movies. I gave it like a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
So yeah,
Incredible.
Big recommendation. My second favorite film of the festival.
I think we should, because these next films
Speed run.
honestly aren't that interesting.
Not really worth checking out
For
and
the sake
putting on
of
your watch
time,
list. Yeah.
speed run. Let's just say
Kidnapped.
5 words.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you're gonna get. 5 words
Sure.
for each one.
Yeah. All right, I'm done.
I'll do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kidnapped.
Boy, that was bad. Shit.
Cool. Kidnapped. Very fucking loud score.
Yes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Also, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down or thumbs up for the
Thumbs
review?
down.
Thumbs down.
Big old thumbs down.
Youth by Wang Bing. Youth in brackets spring.
So long.
Yes. So you could have changed one of the so's to like so, as in like sewing.
Oh, sewing.
That would have been
sewing long.
Oh man, we should. Oh, that's a great review for Letterboxd.
Sewing long.
Yes.
So- Good one. Don't steal it.
Why was this movie long?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs
wasn't
down.
worth
Yeah,
it.
really big. thumbs
The
down.
Old Oak. I'll go first. Cringy, stereotypical.
I don't know if this is faster.
No, no. Let me start again. Cringy, cliche film about racism.
Right.
Thumbs down.
Cheesy but charming. Racism bad. Thumbs up.
All right. Banel and Adama. Great visuals. Mid story in the middle.
Yet to be watched.
I'm giving it
By
a
me.
thumbs up. We won't. Do you want to do Perfect Days as a quick one?
No.
You know what?
well,
Okay. Let's just get rid of the other shit ones then.
Yeah.
Do you want to do Firebrand?
Firebrand, yes.
Okay. Firebrand. Jude Law.
That's one word. Jude Law.
Jude Law. Acting his ass off.
Behead them earlier. 3. Done.
Black Flies.
It's like a mid. It was like, right. Oh, Black Flies.
Best movie of the festival.
I second that. I have nothing to add. Oh, no.
Low key, best midnight movie though.
Yeah. Although this should have been a midnight category. And it was
God, it was in competition.
Why was this in competition?
That's too many words. Homecoming.
Ouais.
Le Retour.
Le Retour. Misleading logline.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Mutter. More. Please.
Narrative switches pace. Send help.
Right. And lastly, you also want to do Elemental?
Oh, why not? Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay.
Pixar's worst movie yet.
Whoa! Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Wow. Zootopia and other animated movies, baby.
Baby.
'Cause
It
it's
might be like a bit like
I'm like
over the
I'm-
top
I'm-
with Elemental. It's not the worst, but it's
I'm at
not
2.5.
great.
You fucking hated it, man. You
I-
came out of that cinema and you were like,
I was fuming.
you were like animated, like steam coming out
no,
of your ears.
I was
like,
as
red.
pink as she got. It's like,
Dude.
what was that thing? That's just like she didn't say she got agitated. She got like, she had a temper.
Yes, because
She had a temper, and she said that like 25 times.
because she's fire
It's
and it's hot, so she has a temper.
Let's talk about Perfect Days.
Okay.
I need to calm myself down.
Last one of the competition.
My favorite film of the festival.
Your favorite from the festival?
5 stars.
5 stars.
Best movie since After Sun.
Best movie since Apocalypse Now. You heard that here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Everyone loves it.
I loved it. I already talked about it extensively, so I want to hear
Perfect Days trilogy?
The Perfect Days, the never-ending day.
Perfect
I would love to
Perfect
see them go for
Day,
different seasons.
Perfect Evening, Perfect Night.
Sure, but I mean, we get to see a whole bunch of like days. We get like to spend a week and a half.
Okay,
with
so it's just a
family.
bunch of different people who clean different parts of the world. So like he cleans toilets. We can get someone who cleans
I
like
think it's not about that.
a dishwasher?
It's more him as a
Like-
person, but
oh,
sure.
sure.
What did you make of it?
That was great. It was
Yeah.
phenomenal. It was
Yeah.
a wicked film.
Mhm.
I can't
Amazing.
fault it in any kind of way. I absolutely loved this
Dude,
movie.
what I didn't touch on is like the soundtrack to this one. The needle drops.
So good.
So great. Very literal, but I mean, there's Perfect Days literally plays.
Yeah.
Or Perfect Day.
Toilet cleaner.
But that's that.
I put a quote in my review. I don't know if you saw
Yeah?
the
What do
Perfect
you
Days
put down?
review. I put down a review that kind of summarizes the film.
Mhm.
It's a Socrates
Right? Well,
quote. Beware the barrenness of a busy life.
The barrenness.
Barrenness.
The
like
barrenness?
barrenness.
Barrenness.
So this is an English quote. Let me help you. So barrenness is like an empty.
Is that Jeanne Du Barry?
No.
She's a baroness?
no, this is look, let me look here. Look, this is the definition.
Barren.
Yeah, barren. So it's like
To
a lack.
poor. What?
Mm.
Too poor?
Think of it like this.
You're poor. Of a place and building bleak and lifeless. Right.
So like he's
Ah,
so the
yes.
quote is you've got to be like
To see the
busy
special-
lives are boring.
Right.
Where this film obviously is about the simplicity of life.
Yeah, exactly. And
his life-
enjoying.
yeah, and his life
and
is
what I've found really
fulfilled.
beautiful about it is like, yeah, that he's fulfilled, and he doesn't really change much in his behavior if he's working or when he's like enjoying some of his free time.
Sure.
And it's not really idealizing maybe the overworking I guess like cultural thing in Japan. It is often the case where you work like 12 hours a day. It's not really doing that at all. It's more just like this guy has a simple life and he likes it. And when he has people around, he's nice to them. So it's like an oddly charming film. I loved it. So next up is Out of Competition. We're done with all of the competition films, and there were only 5. In here, we caught 4 of them. What was your highlight out of these 5? We got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, Cobweb, The Idol, Killers of the Flower Moon. Well, I guess this is obvious. And then the last one, Une vie de combat, which
We did
means
not see.
a life of fighters. We didn't see this one.
Obviously Killers, because I said that earlier.
Yeah.
I think it was my favorite out of the Out of Competition. I don't think it's the best. I think Cobweb would probably take that one. I think it was phenomenal.
Agreed. Mhm.
Oh no! Now I say it.
I like
Now I say
Cobweb
it
more.
out loud. I think I like Killers more.
I like Cobweb.
No, I might say Killers is the best one out of all
Well-
of that. We know which one's the worst.
Indiana Jones.
Idol.
I
Yeah,
slept through
Indiana
a whole
Jones.
bunch of Indiana Jones, so I don't know if I.
You
'cause
saw
I-
a better movie from your imagination.
Exactly. What I said is like I was dreaming and then I cut in and out of the movie and had to brought back to reality. The Idol is not like it's not as bad as some people make it out to be. I
It's
feel
the
like it's just like so nothing.
Only HBO show where they have literally said,
Oh.
okay, more nudity, less story.
There's too many boobs. in
There's
this.
so much
many boobs.
nudity.
Uh,
And most people won't complain about that, you know?
Sure,
no one's going
yeah.
to complain about watching,
Lily Rose Depp naked. Sure.
and that's going to draw in some attention. But there is literally no narrative that's worth
There's-
sticking
yeah.
around for in this plot.
I mean,
also, The Weeknd is like trash.
Oh, he's so bad. His character is also really bad. We only saw the first 2 episodes.
As an actor,
Oh, he's
I like his
able
music.
now. He's not a
Yeah, sorry,
Weeknd
sorry.
anymore, sorry.
Abel
You're
is a
dead
terrible
naming
actor.
him. No, I think Sam Levinson has kind of lost it. Second season of
Euphoria was not great.
was pretty bad. First one was kind of decent. It even doesn't have here the visual flair. You know, really, it's just like
Yeah, there's nothing.
boobs. Look at those boobs.
Oh,
That's all this
it
movie
has
is.
like a neon vibe going for it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
has-
yeah.
It
The
has
lighting
like a
is great.
Nicholas Reifing Wren
yeah.
sort of vibe to it, but it doesn't. It doesn't ever meet any kind of maturity. It just kind of sits there in the background, simmering. It comes in and out. It never really sticks around.
Exactly. So for Indiana Jones and the Killers of the Flower Moon, we already have a review out. We might do one. I think for Cobweb, we also got one, right? So you can go check those out to hear more of our thoughts. And then we grouped together the special screenings and the gun premieres because we missed like a bunch of them. I'll just go through the list and we'll stop until when we get there. QB from Takeshi Kitano was mentioning that because I was kind of anticipating this one. Didn't hear great things about it. It only had like 2 screenings, 3 screenings. We didn't end up catching that. Bernard Pierre Amat, didn't see that. Close Your Eyes. There was a big controversy that this didn't play in competition over something like Black Flies. Apparently this was great. All we've heard was from the Oscar expert Cole. He was praising it a lot and was a bit disappointed that really no one's covering it, and would have loved to have seen it, but I missed it. I watched Along Came Love. Really enjoyed that one. I thought for some reason it was playing in Un Stade de Regard, but it's in here. Wait, no. Actually mixing it up. This is the threesome movie. We watched this one.
Yes, we did watch this one.
Yeah, I mixed that up with Simple Comme Silva. Along Came Love. Quick thoughts on it.
Yeah.
Good. Moving on. Just the two of us. We missed that one. French movie. I think in Cannes premiere, there's oftentimes a bunch of French films. And this one heard some great things about it. Again, we missed it, didn't see it. Lost in the Night, same for that. And then Eureka, didn't hear great things about that one.
Eureka.
Then we stayed clear in the special screening section of the second Wong Bing film. There was a 1 hour long art installation thing, and after Youth we were like, no, not another one. So we didn't watch Man in Black, but we did stay for the 4.5 hours of Steve McQueen's Occupied City. I think on the second day, was that the second day we watched that?
Yeah.
What was your experience like?
I sat 3 rows from the front for 4.5 hours sitting there like this.
I've seen him tell the story, I think 20 times to like different people.
Oh, God. And everyone goes, man, that's gonna fucking suck, eh? And I'm like, it does fucking suck. So everyone, like, and I did the same for Youth as well.
Yes.
3.5 hours of sitting there like, yeah.
Yeah.
Occupied City is good though. You should watch it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Like we said, it belongs.
It's not a good
museum.
movie,
but
it's a good art installation.
It's a good art installation. It's a good piece of art, but not in the form that we consumed it. Wim Wenders had another, also like art installation kind of thing, something like that, with Anselm played at the beginning of the festival. I didn't even see a screening for it, so we missed that one. But I love this other movie. Then there was Pictures of Ghosts. At one point, I had a ticket for this, but didn't end up going. You also didn't, right? Yeah. Little Girl Blue. I didn't have this on my radar at all, so I haven't heard anything about this one. Bread and Roses. Had to cancel that one as well. Now, one that I've heard great things about is Margaret's Theorem. Right, there was some really good ratings coming in, but no one in our circle ended up watching it, so we can't really speak on it. And then it was The Daughters of Fire, a short film that we also didn't see, but the special screening with Ethan Hawke and what's his name, Pedro Pascal from Pedro Almodovar, Strange Way of Life. We did end up catching that gay western. So I didn't like it. Lachlan, you had a good time with it?
Well, we gave it the same score, didn't we? 2.5. No, you gave it a 2.
I think I gave it a 2.
Either way, I was able to not critique this film and just enjoy myself for once, where Ewan obviously was
like,
pulling it apart and he was like, this is not cinema. Sure. So if you just want to have like a good 30 minutes of a bit of fun,
you can have
Strange
fun.
Way of Life.
Unlike me. I think it was like satirical, but I didn't think that, I didn't even see that.
You thought the dialogue was being serious though.
I didn't think it was serious. I thought it was just bad. And I feel like if you make something bad that's intended to be bad and funny, it's got to be funny. But it wasn't funny.
The point is that it's over the top and bad. That it's cliche writing, and that is part of the element that makes this film so special.
I didn't think it was special.
You have 2 really good actors.
I know, but
doing really shitty dialogue.
Yeah.
About them being together, and that's funny.
Sure. Maybe I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
It's
Still
okay.
a 2-star. But
your opinions are valid, but your opinions are wrong.
Yeah. Next up, Un Stade de Regard. We caught like half of these. We'll just briefly tell you if they're worth checking out or not. I caught the opening film, The Animal Kingdom, Reine Animal. Great mid-budget French film. Loved it. Great production design, great costumes. Go give it a watch. Lachlan didn't see this one. I can recommend it. Next up, are you good?
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. The Delinquents. Had a ticket for this. I had to skip out on it. I think did you see it?
Nope.
Okay. Next one was The Winner. I think I do have a couple of words to say about this one, but Lachlan, How to Have Sex. The first film from Molly Manning Walker. I'll have a close look at her work in the future. Great stuff. What did you make of that one?
Good debut to Cannes. Really fun, really enjoyable time, really short as well, which was great. To be fair, the definition of short and long movie has been affected by this festival. Now, a long movie is 4.5 hours.
A short movie is like 2 hours now.
Yeah, I can
Right.
finally watch Lawrence of Arabia and be like, oh man, what a short film. That's so
when-
good.
It ends too
Uh,
soon.
Yeah, it's good. You should
Mhm.
watch it. You should
Yeah.
watch it.
It's my 5th most liked film of the festival. I really love this one. It's it captures like teenagers going on a holiday and then having a good time, having a not so good time. It's a great character piece on on them, I guess. Can't say the same about Goodbye Julia. It's also a first film.
How did you describe it?
How did I describe it?
Sudanese Blindside.
Yes, Sudanese Blindside is a Sudanese film, and I forgot about that. It just feels like, hey, we got this richer family. There's obviously a cultural background that I'm not too familiar with, but it feels then like really contrived and like simplified and kind of just boring and bland and too long. And I didn't love it, and you didn't either, right?
Yeah, that was okay.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. It just was not really that unique or interesting. But for one of the first movies from Sudan to make it into the festival, not too bad. The Mother of All Lies. We also got this one. Didn't this also win like an award? It won like some award. I forgot for which one.
Possibly. It's story time now.
Yeah.
Because I fell asleep during this one,
Sure.
unfortunately. I can't remember why. I think it was just a long night of editing for me on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
But when I fell asleep, I was at the back of the theater. And when I woke up, the director of the festival was sitting next to me. And I felt so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to keep myself from falling asleep.
Uh-huh. Funny.
It was
Yeah.
nothing against the film. I was just super tired in this screening.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a little
Yeah. The literal director, the head of the
bit embarrassing.
festival.
And you didn't
sat next
believe
to
me
him.
because I was describing him
No.
and you were like, that doesn't sound like him.
Yeah.
And then you pointed him out and I was like, yeah, that's him. And you were like, fuck, that's funny, dude.
Yeah. We ran into a bunch of, I guess, famous people. It just kind of happens in Cannes. But yeah.
You just dropped that so casually. You're like, we run into famous people. Name one famous person other than John C. Reilly that you ran into.
Well, famous. The winner of the Best Actress. We saw her one evening.
Oh,
when we were
all right,
dining.
dinner.
Yeah. I saw a couple, but I guess I blanking on their names. I saw the lead of La Chimera. I was stood next to him. I was like,
Wasn't he trying to get into the theater?
he was trying to get into
Yeah.
the not entrance of the theater, and then they were complaining. He's the lead of this movie. It wasn't him complaining though. But yeah, that's that. Simple Comes Silver, The Nature of Love. Great movie that I saw early in the festival. Really charming romance film that's all unapologetic in just like showing the protagonist's POV. So that was another one that we didn't end up catching. Kwaure, the Buriti Flower. We had tickets for that, but then ended up not catching it. Like it is the most case because we prioritize competition over, I guess, Un Certain Regard. It just happens. We'd love to see more films, even if it is pretty exhausting. But yeah, didn't get to all of them. I end up catching The Settlers, another first film here. Had visually a really great thing going for it. I think if you got the time, Lachlan, you asked me if I can recommend it to you if you should check it out. I feel like it's pretty good. But the story was just kind of it was alright. It was interesting, but it's not like a must see in my opinion. Then we both didn't see Omen. Did you have a ticket for that one? Did you?
I did.
Also didn't go to a screening.
Well, we
though?
should probably let everybody know that I had a ticket for every single movie.
Maybe that's part of the stories. Let's
sure,
add that to the stories actually before I forget. The last couple here playing in Un Certain Regard was another one. The Breaking Ice. Got some pretty good reviews out of that one, but we didn't end up catching it. You really wanted to see Rosalie, right?
Did I?
Yes, that was really early on into the festival. It's the bearded lady.
Oh, yeah.
And you skipped that one. Even though we were planning to watch Warwick Thornton's The New Boy, starring Kate Blanchett, early on, we didn't hear great things about it. And we kind of let that carry a not so great screening schedule as well.
Yeah.
So we ended up not catching that as well. Same for If Only I Could Hibernate. And did you watch Hopeless?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Another first film. What did you make of that one?
It was mediocre.
Hmm.
It tries to be a crime noir film,
Mhm.
but Only the River Flows already took that title.
Right.
And the story is it's average.
It's alright.
It's a good. It's okay.
Yeah. I think it's also like one that's a bit too long, you said? Or is that not one of the issues?
No, that's not
No?
one of the issues.
Okay,
No.
cool. Next up, Terrestrial Versus from Ali Asghari. He's been one that's been, I think he's like had a bunch of premieres at the Berlinale, but not too many I've heard of from Cannes here. Didn't hear much about this film either. Rien à perdre, another first film that I think that was one of the 2 French films, the other one playing in Cannes premiere. They got some great reviews out of the get-go that, yeah, we ended up missing because it premiered like pretty late into the festival. We didn't see Hounds. We already talked about Only the River Flows. I don't know if you want to add anything there. No, Salem. Again, we had tickets for all of these, but ended up canceling them. And then lastly, the closing film, Strangers by Night by Alex Lux. We also missed that one. So that's Un Certain Regard. I feel like 2 the best film that we saw. At least How to Have Sex actually took this category. Nothing that really stands out as like a collective here. I feel like there were a couple of pretty good movies that we saw, and then like you'd expect with Un Certain Regard, some films that you don't really connect with at all. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's the midnight screenings. Both of us watched like one in this category, but we've heard not so great things about like any of them. So we didn't end up watching Kennedy. We didn't watch The King of Algiers, and Project Silence. We were so close to seeing Project Silence, but then the reviews were so bad. We're like, okay, we're glad we didn't.
And
catch
we had
this.
to go at like.
I was like, was it midnight?
12:30.
It was really late, and we
At
would have gotten
night.
we would have been in bed at like 3 a.m. and had a screening at 8:30 in the morning. So you know, you gotta set your priorities straight. But you watched Acid,
Yep.
yeah. So I've only heard bad things about it. Can you tell me what it's
It's not bad.
about? Acid?
It's
not
about
bad?
Acid Rain. And it's
Acid
not
Rain.
bad.
Right.
I actually had a really good time watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you're not being honest here.
No. I'm not being sarcastic. That's
Oh.
just my tone of voice usually.
Really.
I genuinely was. Maybe it's because I was at the most prestigious film festival in the world,
and you watched
and I was
Acid?
watching Acid.
Yeah.
But it commits to it. That's the
Mm-hmm.
best thing about it. It doesn't pull out. It's always guaranteed.
Full front going at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always guaranteed that you're going to get Acid Rain.
Acid Rain.
It doesn't ever pull back.
It actually rains acid.
It's good to have a small scale disaster movie once in a while
Yeah.
because this only took place in France, at least from my knowledge.
Well, that's that. Would you recommend it to people?
No,
Okay.
no, actually, I would. I'd say
You
go
would?
watch it.
Okay. Cool.
It falls apart at the end, but it's alright.
Yeah. I watched Hypnotic from Robert Rodriguez.
I wish we
and-
did the other way around. I wish I saw Hypnotic.
Yeah, it's like a mix of a movie that's about 20 years too late. It's like a mix of it's about like mind control in a sense, but it's also Matrix-esque. It has some elements from some Chris Nolan stuff. What's the name with the folding place? What's it called? Inception. Yes, that's the one. I'm a film critic.
The way you described it was terrible.
We're pretty deep into this recording, but yeah, it's a mix. It's a mess. I don't really like Robert Rodriguez, if I'm being honest. Maybe as a kid,
I
like
hate
the Spy Kids movies, but I just can't have a good time.
You don't like Robert Rodriguez movies?
No.
Can I list Robert
Sure.
Rodriguez movies?
List Robert Rodriguez movies.
and tell me whether you think they are not good or not, okay?
Sure. Thumbs up or thumbs down.
Alrighty. Just directing, right?
Yeah.
Just directing? Right,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
The thing you did previously was Book of Boba Fett. So, like, already, I do not have a good... Alright.
Argument. No.
Alita Battle Angel. No?
No. It
Mm,
was
okay.
Mid.
Oh, yeah, well, that's unfortunate. Sin City.
Never finished it. Watched part of it. Didn't really
Really?
vibe with it.
Machete.
That much, no.
Machete.
Haven't seen it.
Spy Kids?
I've been too young to remember, but I mean, good times. Don't they cook like food?
Adventures-
Food and they can just make any food. That's a good thing about this movie.
Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
I haven't seen that one either. I just
From-
haven't seen a lot of Robert Rodriguez films because I don't like
The
modern
Faculty?
ones. I also haven't seen
You
that
should
one.
watch that. That one's good. Dust Till Dawn?
Yeah, I also haven't seen.
You haven't seen that either?
I haven't seen Robert Rodriguez films. That's
Call
why I
yourself
don't
a
like them.
fucking film critic.
You know who
haven't
I-
seen.
You know who I like most in Robert Rodriguez films? It's Callie Kuna.
Kelly.
Everyone.
Yay.
Hi.
Man,
Hi.
it's like the whole
She was
gang.
not in Cannes.
No.
Yes, the whole gang is
we don't
here.
know that.
Well,
Hello.
she was there in spirit.
I'll let you guys.
Yeah.
We had no idea. She
Huh?
could have been in like the background.
She was like added her into our photos.
yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, for all of the categories that we are going over, there was also the SEMAINE Critique, Director's Fortnight, but we ended up catching really like pretty much nothing out of there. There might be a few. Let me.
I saw Inshallah Boy.
Inshallah Boy. Yeah, what did you make of that one?
Yeah, it was alright. It was good.
I'm actually having a look because nothing stands out that I saw outside of competition and outside of all of this. I watched one movie. The feeling that the time for doing something has passed.
Yep.
Doesn't really work on all fronts. It's the one film that's produced by Sean Baker, who did the Florida Project, and it's okay. It's not as funny as it sets out to be. It's about this I guess submissive girl who's with a bunch of dominating men.
Mm-hmm.
And it's essentially that the whole time through, but I don't know, it gets a bit boring. And I think that's the only film I saw out of like the main lineup.
Damn.
Yeah, I really stuck with it. I think next year, what are you going to do next year? Are you gonna focus
I
on
think that
something else a bit more?
We could maybe split it a little bit more, so we could definitely cover the festival a whole lot.
Yeah,
'Cause
but this year
we're-
the competition was so great. So
Yeah.
I felt like I don't know what I would have skipped.
Because I know what I would have skipped.
Yeah,
I probably would have skipped things like Club Zero and
Sure.
left that to you to review. I would have skipped Last Summer, Kidnapped.
yeah.
I would have let you see
So
Youth.
you would have skipped all of the European.
I might have
films.
skipped Occupied City in hindsight because we
Really?
could have squeezed 2 more films in if we didn't go fucking watch Occupied City.
Sure,
'Cause we were in there for 5
We're not
hours.
getting. Yeah, it was a 5-hour long experience. Yeah, I actually would have loved to have seen the entirety of The Idol, not just the first 2
Oh.
episodes. Just knock it out, like get it done, because it premieres I think in a week or 2. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I wouldn't change much. I would love to see even more movies. Last year when I was there, I saw 24 movies. This year I saw like 36. So let's get that up to 50 next year.
Jeez, all right.
I mean, the thing is also about like a bunch of these film festivals. Usually, or sometimes you get screeners or you get watch stuff virtually. But we were in person for each of these screenings, so there's only so many that you can fit into one day. And like we said, we had that 7-movie day. I don't know if you do you have any more anecdotes that you want to share from that day as we bridge over to the story
I don't know if I
time.
can show this with you.
Oh, you're
This
showing your
was our
schedule. Yeah,
So this
I
is
might
the
need to
first-
pull focus on
That's
you.
all right. This is the first day. You don't need to pull focus. This
Yeah.
is the first day, and then that's the 7-day here.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we only had half an hour gaps in between. We didn't get home until like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So like this is a busy schedule. And
Yeah.
obviously we have to write and we have to eat, we have to live
Well,
a life
yeah.
at least.
Little bit.
Which is what these little gaps here are for. But
Mhm.
like in between these films, like Anatomy of a Fall and Banel Adama, you have 2 hours. Most of these films are 2 hours, and you still have to leave the cinema,
Yeah.
line up again. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
an easy process to see a
It's-
lot of
no.
films.
So that's why like some of the virtual stuff in Sundance is kind of exciting in recent times because it gives you access and kind of makes it easy for you to choose to I guess skip something and go to the next thing without missing like a whole 2-hour period. But I like the in-person experience. It was special to be there in Cannes and experience films. But what do you make of like the overall French experience? Are you fluent in French now, like you said at the start of the week?
Bonsoir.
Yeah.
Merci.
Uh-huh.
S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît. Yeah.
Parlez-vous anglais?
Yes, that's the most important.
That's the
one.
most important
Well,
one.
you don't need to say that. Usually they see
They
your
just
badge
assumed.
and they're like, "Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you
let's
speak
talk.
English.
Let's talk English."
But no, yeah, I enjoyed it. The first time in France.
First time in
Food's
Europe,
fucking
yeah.
delicious.
Yeah,
Mate,
we had a great time.
I had a lot of good food,
Mhm.
and it's gorgeous. It was raining for the first few days, which was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
That it was so wet, and
Mhm.
I didn't really pack a wet
Mhm.
resistant
Sure.
jacket.
Yeah, and I was really
no, it's a waterproof jacket.
Yeah, you had a jacket, but it wasn't waterproof. I
Yeah.
didn't even bring a jacket, and I refused
You
to
just
buy an umbrella.
you just stood in the rain.
Yeah, because I got a hat.
Yeah.
Like, what do you? What do you need?
I will definitely be wanting to go back to
Yes.
Cannes. I had a great time. There's a lot to do at the festival. There's a whole like international village I only discovered in the last day.
Oh, we don't have access with that with our press badge, but that's like where like a whole bunch of other movies are screened and sold and whatever. But a part of the like some of the movies also get picked up here, like May December did from Netflix, and a bunch of stuff from I think Neon picked some stuff up
with its fourth Palme d'Or win in 4 years.
Exactly, that's really impressive. 4 wins in 4 years. I wanted to touch on the lines because like what our experience was like before our camera cuts out there. What our experience was like that it was sometimes quite enjoyable because you get so many different nationalities there, and the common ground is usually English. So we understand a lot of the stuff that is discussed. There's a lot of French people there as well, and Italian that talk with each other, and they're like, oh, I don't know what they're talking about. But some of the English conversations were so fun to listen to. And I think I don't want to, because we had a run-in with fate with like specific people who we were chatting about, and then they popped up later. I don't want to go into specifics here, but and there was some really fun stuff, like some flirting that was going on in the line, and some bullshit talk, some like I'm a big actor, I'm like a director, I'm a screenwriter, a lot of that, and it was really funny. It was the closest to hearing like the LA experience.
There were so many elevator pitches happening within the lines. It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah, and you're like, there's 20 people around you, and they pretend like it's only the two.
So I just got out of the Killers of the Flower Moon screening, and I just got to say that I wrote a script many years ago that I think is very similar. Oh yeah, what's it about? It's about time travel.
Sure, entirely the same. We also met up with a bunch of people. We ran in with Cole a bunch of times. He was just like appeared behind us. So it was nice to get to talk to. I mean, for me, it's only been a solo experience so far with all of these festivals. So getting to talk to you is a great experience. And then we met a whole bunch of other people. We went to a Letterboxd meetup. Met up with Ella Camp, who's doing the social media there. Had a great time. And
we're the only people at that meetup, at least from what I knew, that
got in with a beer,
rocked up with 2 beers at 11 o'clock in the morning. Everyone else was drinking water and coffee, and we were like, "What the?
You
guys doing
in a pub?
We're in an Irish pub."
Yeah, how can you not start day drinking? There was also a really close call with Killers of the Flower Moon. We barely scaved in.
You can thank me for that one.
Yeah, well, it was also due to me that we almost didn't get in because I wanted to sit like upstairs in the balcony area. And they counted it wrong, so our line stopped and all of the other people went in, and we ended up going into the orchestra, which is downstairs. But we got like the last 4 seats or whatever. There were like 2 free people after us that got in, and all of the other ones were like, nope.
I had a pretty good seat, funnily enough.
And it were like only 2 screenings. That's actually to be noted here. For some of the premieres out of competition for Indiana Jones and for Killers of the Flower Moon, there was the one big red carpet one, and one that was
insy tiny little press screening, which happened in the big cinema.
I think one of them wasn't even a press screening. It was just another screening.
Oh, right.
So it was even harder to get in, right? But yeah, we managed to get that. You got a good seat as well.
Kill 3 French people to get into that festival. Into that screening, I should say.
Want to talk about dead people and a train ride then?
Let's not talk about
not the specifics. Definitely not. But yeah, we had quite a day getting back. Because essentially, well, first our train was kind of cancelled. Well, it was cancelled. The
whilst
initial
on
ride.
The train.
Well, no. The first one actually was cancelled due to a strike, so we had to rebook.
Right.
Then we booked the later train. Already got like home 4 hours later, and then on that train, there was a stop due to an incident that
involved a person.
That's
what they said. An incident on a train that involved a person.
We know what happened. But we don't want to.
We're not going to say that.
No. So we had to reschedule. We actually took a ridiculously expensive ride in a taxi to go to like the next 2 towns that we would have gotten
because
on
we
train.
needed to get a train.
As soon as we, I think, left the start, like someone else who was on that train before with us then came up to us, but she didn't have a ticket anymore, so she got kind of fucked because she didn't rebook. But we would have made it if we stayed at that station. But
don't tell me that, because I spent a lot of money on that fucking taxi.
You're like, we converted it into Australian dollars, and I was like, you shouldn't have done that.
No, I shouldn't have converted it back.
But we made it, and we were like, hey, happy on a train ride directly to like Zurich, all the way from Genoa. And then as soon as we entered Switzerland, there was something else that entered on our train. And it was 2 really smelly ladies who had some urine on them. And they sat next to us, just like as if it's nothing. and we sat there for 3 hours, experience a taste of a smell of urine, and it was great to get a headache, not having eaten all day. So it was a hoot and a half to get back, but it was like, well, an eventful end to.
I
this whole
got
saga.
the most European experience
Yeah,
traveling across France and Italy and Switzerland to
we're
get here.
flying next time. We decided that we're not doing the train experience again.
I'll
I wanted to
walk.
show him the countryside, but
I'll
then it
just
got
walk.
even. You walk, yeah.
Yeah,
but
then
it
was
got dark.
too dark.
So you couldn't even see.
Long
like, the
story
nice
short, we
countryside.
arrived here
Yeah.
at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly, it was quite late. You want to talk about the tickets though, because that's like something that was quite unique about. Gun.
So I have a
Oh, you have a
let's
spreadsheet? Oh my god.
I have a spreadsheet with all of the movies at Cannes because I wanted to be prepared.
Yeah.
And I had a checkbox so I know which movies I've watched. And I also had a checkbox for what movie tickets I got. I got 56 tickets all up. Didn't go to 56 movies, but I booked 56 tickets because you can cancel the tickets. They're free.
Yeah.
You just got to book to get in. And I booked 56 tickets.
That's a lot of tickets. I think. I mean, I'm pretty much the same. But you ended up going for like 3 of the same time, and I was like, I'll decide later which one. I
Well,
go to.
yeah, it's probably more than that because I had like 3 screenings of
I did overlap. And
Asteroid City.
Ah, yeah.
And I had
like
what else did I
I think
get?
what we
Three
got
screen
to
Asteroid
preface
City,
this with is like
2.
it's not
4.
like other people didn't get to see the movie because of you, because there is a policy that like if you don't cancel your ticket in time, you do get flagged and you don't get to book tickets anymore. So we didn't do a single screening where we took someone else's seat. We canceled them in time. It's what do you do? We had like a lot of times we didn't have tickets for movies, and then like an hour before we did get one and got to see it. It's kind of
I wish I could show
run and
this as
gun.
well, but I originally had on that calendar. I originally had all of the movies that I had booked, and there were so many overlaps.
Yeah,
that because obviously I was looking at it as a week whole because I had so many I think I had 4 films at like a 2 to 3 o'clock period that started at 2 to 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see all of them. Like you can't.
Yeah, of
so I had to
course, no.
cancel which ones, and that's how I eventually got to this masterpiece of a timeline.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it from Gun this year.
No, it's not.
No? You got something else to share?
I have a sneeze that's coming.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's gone because I fucking spoke about it. No, continue on.
all right. So that's the end of Gun for this year, the 76th edition. Gun 2023. Overall, a great experience. Looking forward to doing this again in person next year. So, yeah, in the meantime, there's some new movies on the horizon. We're back to regular business in virtual recording, unfortunately. Next week, there's a little movie that you might know about that's called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse that's releasing. We'll be talking about that alongside, I guess, catching up with Fast X and The Little Mermaid. At least I will be doing that. Not putting that onto you if you don't want to.
I arrived back in Australia on Friday, and then
It's just like
2 days later, you're like, all right, man, you need to see
Watch
Spider-Verse,
7 movies.
Fast X, and Little Mermaid,
No.
please.
It's specifically you only have to watch Across the Spider-Verse. There's also The Boogeyman that's coming out. I think 20th century production. But yeah, I'll try to catch that one if I can. But yeah, you can also catch all of our reviews. We did some, I guess, reviews for some of the films, some of the higher profile films that we linked previously here. They should also be in the description below. Lachlan also did some solo reviews as well as me. They'll also be there, so go give them a watch as my cat is about to destroy a whole setup. Can you get down there? That is
No,
not...
this is the best way to end this podcast.
It's just like all crashes.
Yeah.
But yeah, also make sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, we are back to regular business. New episodes every Tuesday. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. And let us know which movie you're most anticipating from the lineup. I'm actually quite curious because yeah, it feels special that we got to see these movies so early and ahead of other people. But yeah, you got any closing words for Switzerland, for Gun?
Oh, do I end it with the same way I've ended every single recording?
Yes, please.
Au revoir.
Oh, wow. Look at this camera.
Au revoir.
Perfect.
Au
All right.
revoir.
Olive.
Au revoir.
Stop
Man,
it,
that cat is jumping up there.
Gigi, you are a rude cat.